everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion, place of mining Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. We were spoiled on the last run. Got very good, very fast. Early Cricket's Head carried us, okay, 3-6-6-6. It's just too easy. G8, E6. We got a lot of good and a lot of not so good here. The not so good is so clear, I feel, prosaic for even mentioning it. Namely, the fact that our rate of fire is just horrible. Just truly awful. Dude, that was a heck of a shot. I feel like the shot speed on that was like triple what it normally is. Shot speed, no good. The finger is just like the first item that shows up every time now. Don't take that as complaining, as a real positive. You know, it really helps your damage go a little further in the early game, I think. And I don't know, if it scales, sure, more power to you. But our DPS is a real significant hurdle right now. Like Thomas of the San Jose Sharks. He still plays for the Sharks, right? I'm gonna out myself as a fake hockey fan. It's not that I don't know where Thomas Hurdle plays, okay? It's more that I don't follow rosters outside of the Vancouver Canucks, alright? That's basically what it comes down to. So I'm just gonna let the straw recharge, and I really hope it's Larry Jr. Ragman is not ideal, but not necessarily terrible. Methodology for fighting Ragman is very, very simple. Whenever possible, I'm gonna try to use my straw to hit him when he summons a head. And I don't know, sad to say, I feel like Tech, or Robo Baby 2.0 I should say, might be as strong or maybe even a little bit stronger than our actual DPS. Like our DPS with our own abilities. There are tinted rocks here, but I don't really want to do a big room with our current stats to see if we can get a bomb. I mean, the straw is very good, but it's not really strong enough to get strong enough to get us where we need to go. You know what I mean? It's not going to be an inspiring way to finish these rooms, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, you know, we're coming off an episode we had basically zero conversation about Isaac, a lot of conversation about, you know, life, the universe, and everything else, and now we're coming back and we got a little bit of strategy. There's always a little bit of conversational whiplash that occurs in a situation like this. You gotta get yourself, you know, you're focusing on the game, you also got other stuff on the go simultaneously. It's no problem though. I mean, it's not something I've done 3,000 times before or anything. What do we got? We have a bomb. We also have Eden's Blessing. You geniuses. I forgot we actually had this on our last run, right? So that's how we ended up with Robo Baby 2.0 or the blue map, depending on your perspective. Should have called that out. This is a pretty big positive. Eden's Blessing, like the first tiers upgrade is like literally the sweetest. It took us from 17 rate of fire to 9, which is essentially from terrible rate of fire to above average for this early on. Is a huge get. I think I'll look for a second secret room. The real advantage right now, I mean, the straw is... Sure, why not? The straw is great, especially as our damage grows, and our own stats are fine. Every time we use a bomb, there's a tinted rock right after, but... the real advantage that we have right now, as I see it, is we got a lot of HP and a very strong chance to deal with the devil. Oftentimes early on, you're kind of forced to make a choice. You know, what do you want to see? Or out of your deals with the devil, you can take one item. Here, we could take 3 items. If there's 3 items available, which is, you know, probably a little unlikely in the whole scheme of things, but hey, more spirit hearts as well. Alright. Like, being able to take both of those is pretty great, honestly. Now we have piercing shots, we still got HP. Let's move along. It's not that I'm trying to rush down here, it's just that we don't have the consumables that really make a shop worthwhile here. So I think we've gotten ourselves out here. Yo! Alright, so I've been very blessed in Isaac terms today. We've had you know, a pretty... neither of our runs have started incredibly powerful, but only if you treat start as a literal, like, right at the inception of the seed sort of moment. They've all gotten very strong before the end of the, or before the start of the third floor, let's say. So, it's real big, real nice. I didn't talk about it, but, you know, I was talking, you know, I'm recording these on a Friday. Friday's a very big Isaac day for me now. Basically, I look at my video manager for the stuff in the backlog, and I go, alright, what do we need, Isaac or Tetris? Got a lot of Tetris, we got a decent chunk of Isaac, but, you know, it's an Isaac day more often than not, which is nice. You know, I get in the groove of being able to, I don't know, I feel like the sweet spot for, like, Isaac's skill for me is, like, recording 3 or 4 episodes in a day. I don't get too lazy. You know, there's good habits involved, but I'm also, like, by the end of the first one, I'm fully warmed up, if I didn't come in warmed up to begin with. Not that anybody cares, but anyway, the point is, it's Friday, and I was looking forward to the weekend. Josh's wedding is coming up in, like, 2 weeks. J. Smith OTI, in case you're not an avid stream viewer, so I'll be away for like 3 days at that in a couple of weeks. So I gotta do some shopping, get something to wear at the wedding, because the last wedding I was at, here's the thing, I work from home in a computer related context, essentially. I don't have, like, quote unquote nice clothes. Like, I got clothes that are fine to wear outside, but not really to a wedding. And the last wedding I went to was in Iceland, outside in November. So if I wear that inside in April, and it's only March when I'm recording this. Don't get it twisted. You don't have to look at the calendar, figure out where you lost the last month. But might as well look. You know, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna melt down into a puddle, and you'll never hear from me again. So I gotta buy some. Basically, like a nice collared shirt is pretty much what I gotta do. But that's cool. I mean, I should have a suit, probably. It's weird, you know. As a kid, I always thought, like, I would, you know, adults just have suits. You know, you need a suit, or you go to a wedding, you go to a funeral, fancy dinner, work function or something, you know? Or even if you just have to wear a suit at work. I accidentally kind of, like, bypassed that, you know? When I taught, they were, like, dress business casual, so I'm like, well, I'm not gonna spend hundreds of dollars on a suit. I'm working just to afford the suit I'm wearing. And then after that, now I've been in the YouTube thing for so long that it's just like, you know, I've never had recourse to buy one. Plus, I've always entertained the thought that it's like, why would I buy a suit now when I'm out of shape? When certainly a year from now, I'm going to be ripped. That's not based on my newfound habit of at least doing a little bit of exercise. It's just based on the ignorant belief I had, and I think that a lot of people have probably had as well, which is like, yeah, you know, I'm like a little chubby right now, but this time next year, you're going to be sorry. Never do today what you can put off till tomorrow. Sorry, that's my mic arm. It's very squeaky right now. Bro, where the heck is our item room? I'm losing it. Anyway, I don't know if I'm gonna buy a suit, but I'm gonna go with something nice. I like wearing a suit. I don't mind wearing a tie. I guess we're just skipping the item room. Thanks a lot, Amnesia. Really appreciate it. The Dark Descent indeed. You know, I think a suit... Just to be frank, I think that pretty much everybody looks better in a suit. Men, at least. You know, I can't speak from the other sides of the row here. But when I look at myself when I put a suit on, I mean, when I was like 15, I was like, I look like I'm pretending to be old. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, yo, a suit is like an upgrade. It's like designed to, you know, highlight and exaggerate attractive features, you know, like broad, square shoulders and, you know, clean lines to make it look like you don't have a balloon-sized gut, and etc., etc. So I don't mind this suit. It's just like I always, you know, I don't need one now, and then I'm gonna I mean, you know, I'm gonna maybe be laughing. You know, my own funeral, they'll be like, here lies Ryan. Smart son of a gun, played his cards right. He never had to buy a suit. People will be like, wow. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. The other thing, I mean, I'm not super stoked about clothing shopping. I'm not against it, but like, you know, I do find it a little bit of a chore, but you get some nice clothes at the end, I guess. And then also got to see the new Jordan Peele film, Oos. Heard it's good and scary. And I'm ready. I will say though, I almost lost it. I don't care about spoilers almost at all. I'm the guy who's like, you know, actively, I will seek out spoilers. And I can't explain it. I know it makes some people mad. But, you know, they'll be like, hey, don't, I gotta put my chat in slow-mo because somebody's gonna spoil Game of Thrones for me. And I'm like, I already read the spoilers on r/freefolk 6 months ago. You know, I'm not trying to act superior about it. It's just sometimes I'm like, I'm more curious to know the information than I am to wait and get the information the way the creators intended. But for us, I'm like, dude, I'm just seeing it this weekend. I don't want to, you know, go to Wikipedia, spoil myself, and then, you know, then go watch the movie a day later. Like, I can wait a day. That's not a problem. But I was reading an article on, like, a movie blog that had showed up on Reddit. And then, I forget what the article was on. Probably something Marvel related because I'm a shill. I scrolled down past the end of the article, and it was, it said, Us, ending explained, and then colon, and it, like, in the headline, started mentioning things that I was like, I don't want to see this. I backed out. Like, it didn't actually end up, I think, spoiling anything for me, but I was just like, dude, the movie, it came out yesterday. I believe you me, by the way, I have a sympathy for the bloggers. I understand that people are like, I'd rather you didn't spoil it, and then simultaneously like, dude, just let me keep the straw for now. Let's re-roll this. Simultaneously, those are probably like the most trafficked articles on your website. But could you, I mean, like, we're in the same business of getting people to click on our stuff, you know? I feel like to us ending explained, totally acceptable headline, all right? Us ending explained, colon, nouns I've never heard before that are clearly related to the lore of the movie. That's when it goes a step too far. And I understand, to some extent, it's kind of like pot calling the kettle black, because there's a lot of YouTubers out there who essentially, you know, the day after a game comes out, they'll post a video on their channel that's like, you know, final boss battle, blank versus blank, hitless, final cutscene, big spoiler, you know, and it sucks. By the way, I think if you're like, how do you feel about that, NL? I think those people are lame. I think that's real selfish. It's also, I don't want people, they go, it's genius because you get people rage clicking on it. It's not genius. You can get people who, you know how easy it is to get people to click on something because they're mad? I could do it with this video. Just why the Steam or the Binding of Isaac episode 1223. Why the Epic Store is better than Steam. It would get like probably 10 times the views of an average Isaac episode. It's not hard. All you have to do is lie. It doesn't make you some kind of genius like, well, you can't hate on him for playing the game. Of course you can. Anybody could do it. Most people just choose not to out of a certain sense of decency and obligation to their audience. Anyway. Some people are a little less scrupulous, I suppose. But yeah, it's just, I understand, you know? Because here's the thing. After I see Us, I'll probably go to that article and be like, hey, what did they have to say? I definitely have done that for, like, other movies. I've been like, you know, Hereditary ending explained. And then I'm like, oh. But the movie, it came out yesterday, dude. It didn't even come out yesterday. Like, the midnight screenings were yesterday. Comes out today. And it's only 12:40 p.m., so it's like, you know, maybe you're going to see the matinee of a horror movie on a Friday at lunch or something like that, but like, you know, it's probably a little uncommon. I don't know. Even, it just struck me, even as somebody who's pretty, in my opinion, insulated to spoilers and not that worried about them. I was like, can you not put them in the headline? I'm preaching to the converted, though. It's the coldest take of all time. Hey, can you stop spoiling movies for me? I tell you, there's a radio station here. I don't know. Dude, a radio... Has anybody checked in on radio lately? I feel like it's very sick. But there's a radio station here. Kate likes it. I hate it. I love my wife, so I listen to it. Sometimes when she's talking, though, I'll surreptitiously change the station to something else. And she won't notice, or she'll pretend not to notice because she loves me. And even better. But they do two things. One is... making fun of people who are offended, which is like the cheapest form of comedy of all time. So they'll just tell like the crappiest offensive jokes, and then they have like the soundboard that goes like, "That's not okay. I'm offended," and I'm like, "Oh, you suck." And then the other thing they do is they do a segment that I don't even understand called Spoiler Alert, where they just spoil. I mean, movies that are old, but I just don't understand the point of it at all. So they'll, like, spoil The Sixth Sense. So they'll spoil Top Gun. And they'll spoil, you know, like, I don't know, The Empire Strikes Back or something like that. Now, these are spoilers that are all in, like, the public consciousness to some extent. You know, other people have made jokes about them, of course. But those jokes, oftentimes, are actually funny. What they do is go, like, hey... And I'm going to spoil The Sixth Sense for you. If you haven't seen the movie, you're unaware of the spoiler. Now would be a good time to close the episode. If you hadn't, go watch it. I mean, it came out like 20 years ago this year. It's a good movie. Just click the like button before you leave. And they'll be like, at the end of The Sixth Sense, they reveal Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. Spoiler alert! And what is it? Is this is what passes for humor? Is just like unabashedly... sneering bad behavior. It's like the Eric Andre bit, you know? Hunger Games? No thanks. I'm still full. It just doesn't make sense. It's like the lowest common denominator. It doesn't even, like, literally. It's just humorless. It's not that I'm humorless. I love to laugh. I laugh when people tell me what they had for lunch that day. I don't even understand why. Sometimes people go, why do you laugh so much? I go, I don't know. I thought you were trying to make a joke. I thought I'd meet you in the middle. What'd you have for lunch today? I had a Kraft mac and cheese. Oh, really? Yeah, what's so funny? You know, this is why I don't have many friends in real life. That and isolation. But, okay. I don't think jumper cables is going to do much for us, but why not give it a shot here? There's no joke. The joke is just, you're mean. At least when I, you know, am mean on the show, I try to do it in such a way that is humorous. At least for me. I just don't get it, man. Anyway. As long as they're not spoiling modern stuff, it's not that big of a deal. But it's just like the fact that they think they're hilarious makes it so much worse. Oh, are you offended by my joke? No, I'm offended by the fact that your joke is just not funny. It's not the... Like, I like a lot of offensive humor. It's just the fact that the way you there's no joke. The joke is just that you're trolling, but like you can't troll from a position of power like that. It doesn't make any sense. It's like Ford trolling you, Ford Motor Corporation being like, "Meh. Hey Chevy, you stink." This just doesn't. You know, it's like Wendy's on Twitter or something like that. I don't know. I'm not making a coherent point here at the end. But I think I made a coherent point somewhere in the middle. Anyway, they'll all be out of work in like 10 years. I'll probably join them in like 12, so... it's not too mean-spirited. Hey, Funny Man, shut up and play the Maroon 5. I didn't tune into this station for laughs. I tune into this station because it's one of the 75 in Vancouver that's playing the new Shawn Mendes jam. I'm not here for you. I'm here for Shawn. Joker. We should not use it here. I'm so tempted to use it here just because I want a damage injection, but let's not say we did. It's just one of those things, like, you know, I'm not a comedian, but I sort of am, if that makes sense. Whether or not I'm successful at it depends on your interpretation, your enjoyment of me as a human being. But, like, I try to be funny. I would say that in the, you know, I'm not trying to glorify myself by saying I'm a comedian. I'm not cleaning my toilet and going, oh, this is a good bit of, like, sanitation engineering I'm doing right here. And, you know, but at some level, I do professionally tell jokes, and it, you know, most of them are pretty bad. But that doesn't mean that I'm not trying. So what offends me is just, like, you know, sometimes people come into chat and they'll just drop like a racial slur, and then they'll be like, "You mad, bro?" And you're like, "No, I'm not mad at all. You're either like 12 years old or mentally you're 12 years old. Like, I've never seen your username before, and you're like, really bad word." But inevitably, like, probably a third of those people, when you go, "Hey, don't say that, idiot," they go, "Oh, am I not allowed to say that word here?" And you're like, "No, I mean, no," but also, like, is this how you start your argument on free speech on the internet? Is by, you know, dropping, like, some terrible, hateful phrases right off the bat, and then being like, "Oh, I see how it is. This channel doesn't respect the American Constitution." Anyway, I don't really want to get into it. I'm just saying, it's whenever somebody, the premise of your joke is just like that the joke is offensive even if it's not funny, that's dumb and bad. You can be offensive and funny. Some people will still get mad. I'm not one of them. But you have to hit the laugh. If you don't hit the laugh, you just seem like a D-hole. That's why you gotta be careful with stuff like that. You know, Mike Birbigli's got a great special. I forget what it's called. Thank you for laughing. Thank God for jokes. Something like that. It's been a few years since I saw it, but it, you know, it resonated with me as somebody who has to make fun of other people essentially on the show. This is the spirit of the NLSS. I get made fun of. Other people get made fun of. You know. But we're friends. It is like a safe environment for it to happen. And that doesn't mean that we don't cross the line with each other or with other groups sometimes. But simultaneously, like, you know, it's meant. The spirit of the jokes is not to be like, "Hey, here's a joke," and also like, "I'm just telling it like it is." The spirit of the jokes is like, "Hey, we're all here to make people laugh," not to necessarily be like, "Am I right or am I right?" You know, somebody's always, almost every good joke, somebody's the butt of the joke. And it takes a lot to laugh when you're the butt of the joke, you know? You gotta be very careful when you're telling that kind of joke, too. That especially, you know, on the show, you're not just throwing somebody under the bus. You're, you know, "Hey, you know, wow, Austin, you know what you do? Order a lot of delivery." Womp, womp. You know, like, that's just, like, it's just bad. Anyway, I'm getting too, it's inside baseball, I'm up my own butt. You get the idea. This radio station sucks. It's also #1 in our car rotation. F in chat, please. Good one. So yeah, I'm seeing Us this weekend. I think that was the spirit of that conversation. Full stop. Apart from that, dude, just an everyday normal weekend. I don't know what to do with myself. There's no F1 race this weekend. Has Formula 1 ever considered lowering the break between races to 1 week instead of 2 weeks? NL, that's not possible. They got to fly millions of dollars of equipment, you know, cross-continentally set up, get the racetrack set up. Sometimes the races are set up in the city streets, so it takes a while. There's a lot of safety that has to be done, logistically, a lot of infrastructure has to be... And then just do it, okay? Look, I'm paying $35 a month for cable. That also happens to include F1 races. Are you saying the customer isn't right in this situation? We're not a problem-focused environment here at Fyre Festival Incorporated. We're a solution-focused enterprise. Stop coming to me with problems. Start coming to me with solutions. I love that. I can't remember if it was in Isaac when I talked about that, but I love the Fyre Festival documentary. When people come to the organizer of the festival and they're like, "Hey, we don't have any toilets. People are going to be sleeping in hurricane tents." etc., etc. By the way, we don't have any food for the thousands of people coming here. And he's like, hey, just so you know, we're not a problem-focused environment. We're a solutions-focused organization. So don't ever come to me with problems again. Come to me with solutions. That's leadership, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone ever comes to you with a complaint, hit him with that line. Here at Northernlion, Top Right Incorporated, we're not a problem-focused environment. If you have a criticism, that's great. Keep it to yourself. All I want to hear are solutions. Anyway, dude's a huckster. You get the idea. If you haven't seen the Fyre Festival document, I mean, I know there's more than one. It's like a Deep Impact Armageddon situation. You know, I'm talking about the Netflix one. I understand there were some concerns about the fact that the Netflix one was partially created by one of the companies involved with the Fyre Festival. It also has better reviews. Just saying. I would recommend it. Maybe watch both, dude. I don't know. Beats me. I'm finishing up season 8 of Unsolved Mysteries. Still 4 seasons to go. This run has kind of fallen apart. Is not a nice way to describe it. This run is not. It hasn't scaled as quickly as I would have loved for it to have scaled. We are doing fine, don't get me wrong, but could use a little bit of HP, honestly, but a little bit of an offensive injection wouldn't hurt either. I'm very wary because the irony coefficient on this run, if we were to lose, is very high because we said no to Satanic Bible, which is essentially just an automatic victory. So I'm actually just gonna focus on dodging. It's probably not the most efficient way to handle this fight, but it is one that allows me to focus all of my efforts on not taking damage, which seems pretty productive to me. And actually, between Blue Baby's Only Friend and Robo Baby 2.0, there's actually a pretty nice amount of damage coming out here, enough to ensure that we don't have to worry about things too much. Pretty nice, actually. So we're just hoping for. We probably don't need great items on the chest, but it would always be nice to grab them if possible. An Emperor card would also. I mean, I'd be over the moon. Sack Dagger or something with permanent Polaroid invincibility is pretty much a gimme win. These are not good items. In fact, you know, Bumbo could do something for us, but the rest of these items are essentially worthless, to be honest. Have to imagine that your boss fight's up here. So we're going to pivot out of this conversation. Instead, we're going to focus, yikes, on just trying to stay ahead of the curve here. Basically 100% concerned with dodging above all else. Very, very, very rarely do I take this approach on a run. So I hope you're going to give me the space that I've earned. Half the time I come down here with an orbital, I'm just running into enemies over and over, despite the fact that I shouldn't. This is one situation. I'm taking my time. I'm impressed with the damage from Blue Baby's Only Friend and Robo Baby 2.0, which is something I, don't say all that often. It's given me a lot of defensive capacity on this run, which is very nice. We're just going to keep it up. Because at the end of the day, if we can get through this without getting hit, I'm not sure if you're aware of the, the macroeconomics of Isaac, but the less you get hit, the more likely you are to get a victory. Hello. I didn't know which way he was pivoting at first. I always forget these guys can actually summon enemies. I mean, they're not good enemies, but they do exist. Decent. We even picked up a half spirit heart. This room looks very familiar. Please, I'm begging you. A spacebar press would be extremely advantageous right now. Oh, I almost took damage from Gish. No, 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 no. Okay. Dude, we've been playing well this floor. I'm not afraid to say it. Who says no? Huge. This is a very mature way to finish this run. This is the kind of run where when you're... Oh, that was pretty dumb. But when you're on a slump, this is the run you lose. And you go like, dude, I don't know what happened. We just lost all of our offensive capabilities. When in reality, you know, is... you know, the problem is you on that one. Or the problem is me most of the time. I don't know. Maybe you're a perfect Isaac player. I never meant to do those things to you. I heard Simple playing in the wild yesterday. At the Korean barbecue restaurant. You know, they were playing a little K-pop, little Mamamoo, little Blackpink. Followed it up with, 'cause I lost it all. Nothing lasts forever. I'm sorry, I can't be perfect. Anyway, that's the first time I've heard Simple playing in the wild for like a decade. For now, thanks for watching. We're up to 17 wins in a row. Feeling pretty good. If you enjoyed the episode, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!